So my publisher gave me like this massive like crate. They like shipped this massive crate of like books, the books that they published, and they're like, here you go, Kenny. You get this massive crate of books to sell in your area. And I was like, oh wow, this is a really amazing opportunity for me to increase the sales on my book. And so I went to this massive book festival, and there was a lot of like rising authors there, and I set up a marquee there, and I saw that there was a lot of these people that was going crazy over other authors, and my marquee was like pretty empty, and I felt pretty hopeless. Then I saw this lost kid. He was just walking around aimlessly, and he looked like he was about to start crying. And so I went up to him and I was like, hey kid, you know where your parents are? And the kid was like, oh, I can't find them anywhere. I'm lost. And I was like, don't worry, boy. We're gonna get you to your parents. And so we searched we searched the whole place, and they were nowhere to be seen. And I was like, don't worry, kid. I'll just take you back to the marquee, and we'll just wait there for your parents. And if they don't show up, then I guess we gotta take extreme measures, maybe go to the police or something. And the kid was like, all right. And so we went back to the marquee, and there they were. His parents were there, and they were looking at the books I had on display. And they when they turned around, they saw us. And he was like, the dad was like, there's my little boy. And they ran up to the kid, and they gave him a big hug. And they saw me, and they asked, wow, you've been looking after our kid, huh? And I was like, yeah, I've been with him, trying to help him, reunite him with his parents. And he was like, oh wow, you're an amazing guy. Are these your books? And I was like, oh yeah, I just got them published. They're like this epic, it's like the first book in like this epic series about saving the world from aliens. And he was like, oh wow. And the dad was talking about how his daughter was like part of this book club, and like every week they'd bring in like a book to share with this book club that they were in. And he was talking about how their daughter loved sci-fi adventure books with a little hint of romance. And I was like, oh cool. So when does she go to these book clubs? And they told me the time that the book club's is on at the library. And the man was like, you should totally like surprise them with this massive crate of books, because I'm sure that everyone's gonna be wanting a copy of your books at that book club. And I was like, all right. And so I went to the book club the next week, and man, I didn't expect there to be so much people. Like the whole library was like packed out with people, and they were like engaged in this book club thing going on. And I went in with this and I got some help from the librarians bringing in this massive crate of books. And this got everyone's attention. Someone was like, what's this massive crate doing here? And the librarian was like, oh, we got this amazing new author who just published his books and he's ready to sell. And they were like, I'm not so sure. We already brought a book for our book club. I don't think we need anything else. But then, and I could have just started talking up my book series, but instead I got interested in what they were reading, and I was like, "What you reading?" And he was like, I was like, "What you reading?" And he was like, "Oh, I'm reading some Harry Potter." And I was like, "Oh, wow. That's a really good series." And he was like, "Of course, homie." And I was like, "Why do you like Harry Potter?" And he was like, "Oh, it's because it's this epic adventure fantasy novel about overcoming evil." And I was like, "Yeah, I really like Harry Potter." And I learned a lot from Harry Potter about writing a good book, and I feel like I really incorporated it into my book series about overcoming evil and creating like a cast of likable characters. And he was like, your book series does sound pretty interesting. And I was like, yeah, I'd say it's pretty interesting, and it has a lot of meaning to me because it's about sacrifice for the world and for your friends. And he was like, oh, now I really got to read it. And so we sat down together, and I was gonna read the first few chapters to him, but then I saw that everyone else was listening in, and so I decided to read to the whole library. And so I was reading chapter after chapter, and the more I read, the more interested and engaged that they got in the story. And so when I stopped reading after the third chapter, everyone wanted a copy of the book because they knew that the story didn't end there, and they needed to know how it ended and how Cleo and her friends saved the world from aliens. And so everyone was buying a copy, and by the end of the day, that massive crate of books was all gone, and everybody had a copy of my books, and I became pretty stacked on the cash, man. I made thousands of dollars that day, man. It was a huge day for my sales of my book. And remember, if y'all are interested in purchasing my books, then post a comment, and you're gonna secure yourself a copy of my books and find out how this epic book ends. And that's all I got for this video. Goodbye.